On a previous video, one of you made such a good comment that I wanted to make a whole video about it. So let me read it. It's from That's What I Said 8908. And they commented, if you have a Kindle, you can buy or borrow through Goodreads several decluttering books, maybe one per month. I'm setting a goal to read one of mine per month for the next 6 months. And I thought that was such a great idea that I wanted to share some decluttering books that I think are really good. And they're all three very different and for maybe different stages in your decluttering journey. I actually got on a roll here and ended up talking about 6 books. So now you can have a different book for each month of the Clutter-Free by Christmas challenge. So I'm going to start with a couple that you may not have heard of. So I'm going to start with Minimalista. And this one, I love it. The subtitle is Your Step-by-Step Guide to a Better Home, Wardrobe, and Life. I wanted to share this one because it has beautiful photography. It's more of like your Pinterest-worthy inspiration, but it's also very practical, even if your home is not Pinterest-worthy at this moment. If you want to read a book and then have it as like a coffee table book, it's very beautiful as decor. It's very simple and neutral and like sturdy and durable. But I'll have to check the prices. I'm assuming this is a little more expensive than some other decluttering books. And, you know, if you've got kids and you're in a cluttered space, you could maybe potentially see this getting damaged or scuffed up. You might not want to start with this one. I really do like the content. And even though I've read a bunch of decluttering books, this was helpful. I don't agree with everything, of course, but it does walk you through step by step. And I did find it valuable, even though I've read other things. It was a reminder to do certain things, and I would go declutter sometimes after reading certain parts. There were some parts where I was like, that doesn't apply to me, but I was still gonna just try to read it to have ideas for other people that I work with. So the next one I had never heard of. I don't remember how I heard of Minimalista, but I did come across it, whether it was just searching on Amazon or what, but this was at the thrift store. And so I had actually searched for a magazine that I wanted to subscribe to and have something to read that wasn't on my phone. And I love getting mail. So I found this company, I guess, The Flow, because it was a magazine, but it was out of, like, they weren't printing anymore. They weren't mailing out magazines anymore, unfortunately. But anyway, I came across this book and it is amazing. So I'm so happy I found it. It is very artistic, creative, fun, and it is more than just physical decluttering. It's living with less. So, I mean, I had no idea. It addressed less screen time. It addressed less of a busy schedule and like things I didn't even think of, but I loved it. It was just definitely meshes with my, I guess, beliefs and that kind of thing. And the subtitle for this one, oh, this is the Big Book of Less in case you didn't see that, but the subtitle is Finding Joy in Living Lighter. And it has like, it's just so fun. I did talk about it briefly in a previous video. I'm not completely done with it, but I'm so close. And the same, I have this much left and I'm like so excited for it. It's still so cute to the end. And the same for Minimalista, but I've read enough to know that it's worth it even if you don't read to this part of that I haven't gotten to yet. So this one's also probably pricey. It wasn't for me because it was at a thrift store, but I think I paid like $1 for this. This is crazy. But it's very fun. It has pages that you can peel out. And I actually did tear one out that was a painting by a Japanese painter. And it's like in my bedroom now. I love it. It's so cute. And then it even has like fold outs and just so delightful and cute. But the text, the content, the written material is also very high quality. And they have like a lot of different people writing about certain things. So it's not completely, if you're just trying to declutter, it might be a little distracting from that, but it's still about a simpler lifestyle. Let me see what else it has. Okay, so chapter 1, less stuff. Chapter 2, less information. Chapter 3, less remembering. Chapter 4, less control. Chapter 5, less doing. Chapter 6, less living large. And chapter 7, less judgment. Ooh, okay, I can't wait to get to the end too. But in case you have read other decluttering books, I wanted to share some that were maybe less known. I believe both of the authors are from the Netherlands, and it's just so fun. I love it. But the third one is maybe the most well-known decluttering book, or one of the top ones, I would say, and it's the one I went through when I really got serious about decluttering, I heard people talking about this book and got it. And this was in 2014. I purchased it at the end of the year and really had it that whole time while I was planning and starting my decluttering journey. So even if you've heard about it and you think you know what it's about and what it's like, because I am talking about the life-changing magic of tidying up, I still recommend reading it if you haven't, because it's not just does it spark joy. Like, yes, that is a huge part of it and super helpful even if you don't read the book, but she really goes into breaking things down, each category. I feel like the psychology of everything, and in a very helpful and detailed way without a lot of fluff. So if you want to get to the point, and also I believe this is a little more of an affordable book and you're not so worried about it getting messed up, there aren't like pictures and artwork and stuff throughout. But I did get rid of my copy, and I actually saw another copy at the thrift store and I was like tempted to buy it, but I'm like, I don't need it. Like, the information came in, it helped me, and it could be nice to read it again. But anyway, I hope that one of these books will work out for you and you can read one each month for 3 months, or just choose one that seems the best for you in this moment. And if you've read all of those or don't have any interest in any of those, I really don't like talking about my own book, but I also follow a YouTuber who has an amazing book. Okay, I'll show you this one too. It's so good and pretty, and this is actually one that you could use for decluttering, even though it's more about decorating. I feel like this is more for once you've decluttered, then move on to this one. Attainable room by room decorating tips for renters and homeowners. And it is really good, but I think she does have at least some parts about decluttering, but that isn't the primary thing. But it's also inspiring because the spaces are very clutter-free. So it can inspire you that way, and she gives multiple ways of decorating. But anyway, so she doesn't talk about her book. So I was following her for a long time before I don't even think I saw it on a video that she had a book. I was just looking for decorating books or gonna see. I don't know how I found it, but I found it on Amazon rather than her talking about it.
I actually remembered how I found out about her book. It was through her, but not her talking about it in her videos. So it was because she had a banner on her YouTube channel. So when I went to her homepage, the banner said, "Here's my debut book." So I updated it and added mine also to my YouTube banner. So I am going to try not to be super repetitive and always talking about my book in these videos.
Anyway, that has gotten me to want to just briefly mention my book, even though I feel uncomfortable talking about it, because maybe it will help you and be just what you're looking for and wanting. And again, a lower price point, and read it, get rid of it, like not a big deal. But it's called Pack Rat to Clutter-Free: How I Cleaned Up My Life in Less Than a Year. And it's my personal journey, and it goes along with a lot of the stuff I talk about in these videos because it walks you through how I did things, which is how I'm sharing for you to do as well. So it is from the perspective of someone who is not naturally clutter-free, had a hard time letting go of things and learning to let go of things and learning why it's helpful to let go of things, and really changing my mindset when it comes to possessions and holding on to them. I really just wanted to keep everything. So I will eventually hit on a lot more of these topics in my videos. So that's kind of also why I'm like, you don't have to buy the book. But if you want it now to have it as you're going through, if you want it to be one of your 6 books that you read while you're decluttering, or 8 books, you read one each month while you're becoming clutter-free by Christmas, then that can be really helpful instead of having to wait until the videos come out or miss one or whatever. And if you've read a lot of other decluttering books or don't know of other decluttering books, then this can be a good place to start. Just gives some of my tips and even talks about things like gratitude and contentment and how that can help. So like one of the chapters is hoarding was my love language, and oh, my huge capsule wardrobe, because that is how it felt. Like other people would show these little tiny wardrobes and I'm like, well, I'm proud of my 100-piece wardrobe because that's way less than my 500-piece or however many clothing items I had before. Oh, I also talk about how I became debt-free and that helped me become clutter-free. And a lot of times I think those do go together hand in hand, but sometimes people declutter first and then they become debt-free after, kind of partially because of that process of becoming clutter-free. I talk about the fears that I had when it came to decluttering as well. Anyway, so I will link to all of these books so that you can find them easily, read the descriptions, read the reviews, and decide which one you would like to read. But again, if that feels like more clutter coming into your home, then you do not have to buy these, or you can get the Kindle version or the audio version, or get it from the library and return it. But actually, I bought The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and then I was able to get rid of hundreds of books because of what it taught me. So I don't feel too bad about recommending these books to you. But again, if you don't have the money for it, watch videos, listen to podcasts, and those can be super helpful as well. I guess I should mention Dana K. White's books. I listened on Audible when I had that, and those were really good too. So she has the blog A Slob Comes Clean, and I do love that podcast as well. So I wanted to throw that in there as another option. There are a couple of things in my book that I haven't noticed other decluttering books having. And one of those is a section on how I make it fun, and I even have a little decluttering quiz, and how like rating your clutter can be so helpful. Not rating, but rating, R-A-T-I-N-G. And you can rate it at different stages. So you might not feel like you're making progress, but then you rate it again and you're like, oh, this is different than how it was when I started. So that is another thing. And then also how to help other people declutter. And even if you're not helping other people declutter, it's helpful for you if you want other people to help you, because you can let them read this, or you can tell them like these things are helpful and these things are not. So I think that's kind of part of what makes this book unique. Oh, and car clutter. So a lot of people just talk about household clutter and office clutter, but car clutter seems to be a bit different. Some people don't struggle with car clutter, but they struggle with clutter in their home. And some people don't struggle with clutter in their home, but they struggle with clutter in their car. Of course, some people struggle with both, and some people don't struggle with either one, it seems, but just wanted to let you know that is in there as well. So thank you for putting up with my little commercial, but I wanted to share it in case you're like, oh yeah, I like her style. I want to hear from her, not someone else. Oh, but I do want to share the reminder that these books do not help if you don't actually read them. So make sure you are doing that. And I would love for you to comment with your favorite decluttering book and let us know. Maybe I will read one of those next. Oh, okay. I do have to mention this one. Goodbye Things was so helpful as well. I loved that one, and I don't have the physical copy. I listened to the audio of that. It's like a breath of fresh air just thinking about it and remembering reading it. So definitely check that one out too. I got a lot of decluttering done because of that one. So also thank you for leaving that comment and giving me the inspiration for this video. Oh, still recording. It is burning up in here. Why? How did that happen? Ugh. Okay. Living in the desert. Getting to be summertime. Okay. Like hoarding. Oh my God.